Well, hi. Today is Monday, February 24th, 2025. My name's Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. We made it through the frigid temps of last week, and this week it's going to be so much warmer in the Council Bluffs and surrounding areas. I was driving yesterday, and my car said it was 55, and I don't know that that works or not. I have no way of being able to calibrate it, but my car did say it was 55 yesterday, and it's supposed to be even warmer today. Let's see what the trusty phone says. I think it's up to 57 for today, 59 on Tuesday, 50s all the way through the week up until Friday, which now it says 62. How about that? Is this an early spring? Can we say that we're out of the woods? The last time I shot my mouth off and said that we hadn't had any winter weather, next thing I know, we're getting ice and snow and everything else. So I'm not commenting about that, but I am going to enjoy it. That's why I'm wearing a T-shirt right now. Coming up in just a bit, I had a great conversation with a lady. Her name is Tammy Francisco, and Tammy is the Community Relations Manager for Mosaic in Western Iowa. And she tells us all about what Mosaic is, what they do for our area. And I had a chance to meet Tammy. Well, we talk about when we met, and that's coming up in the interview here in just a little bit. Also, I thought I would use this show to take an opportunity to talk about podcasting again and answer a few questions and some of the more common questions that I get when it comes to podcasting. And if it is that you want to start one, and things that folks ask me before they start one. And one of the more common questions I get is, how do I make it good? They're worried that it's going to be bad. Well, let me solve the mystery for you with this, okay? It's going to be bad. When you start, it'll be bad, because bad is a relative term. It is not necessarily because, I mean, if you're going to compare yourself to someone who's been doing it for 10 years and that's the bar you're going to set for yourself when you first start, then yes, it's going to be bad. If you are comparing yourself on the first episode to what you will do by episode 100, then yes, it will be bad, because you are going to keep getting better. This is one of those things that I don't know of any other way to improve other than just doing it, because there's so many things you're going to learn about yourself when you are sitting in front of a microphone, just like I am now. And if you're doing a video podcast, you're going to learn things about, how do I look directly into the camera, or is it important? And these are things that you can decide for yourself. There's many podcasts out there, especially when they're talking to somebody else. They're not looking at the camera, they're looking at the other person. And when I do an interview, I'm not looking into the camera as I am right now. I'm looking at the other person, even if it's online. So now it doesn't look like I'm looking directly at the viewer or the listener. So again, if you think you're worried about whether or not it's going to be bad, well, just solve the mystery. It's going to be, and it's okay that it is. I have told every single client or potential client that I've ever had that I produce podcast for, the first episode you do will be the worst episode you do. And there's no way around that, because there's so many things that you just don't know. I can tell you a lot of things about this, but I don't know your style. I don't know your delivery. I don't know your topic as well as you do. You are going to get better at delivering what that topic is in a concise and entertaining way. All of that is going to come. And the only way that you can get there is by doing it. So if you have any questions at all about podcasting, please reach out to me, send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com. I'd love to share what information that I have with you, free of charge. That's not something that I'm going to charge for a introductory phone call. That's just not something that I do. So if you want to learn a little bit more, send me an email or go to my website, leshellsmedia.com. Click on that free podcast planner, and you can learn all about what it is that you need to do and what you need to get ready for before you launch your first podcast. Speaking of this show, we talked about it. It's going to be coming up very soon. We're adding a new feature, and we are going to be going to local restaurants and trying out their food and doing reviews and learning about more about that specific restaurant and facility. And I'm really looking forward to it. And it's the help from Bryce Taylor from GLI Insurance Group is invaluable with this. Bryce is a locally and a family-owned independent insurance group. That's GLI Insurance Group. He's been helping people find the best possible plan for them for over a decade. He's just up the road in from Council Bluffs in Crescent, and he's also the founder of the Facebook group Council Bluffs Food Lovers. That's why we are going to be partnering and doing this new feature coming up very, very soon. Also, I mentioned going to my website, leshillsmedia.com. Sue Pitts of Just Sue Creative is the one that built that website, and we're always adding to it. We're always fine-tuning things, making it better, and she is a genius at that, and she can do it for you too. She really has a passion for website design, search engine optimization, content creation, marketing. She wants to help you thrive in this digital world, and a great starting point for that is to visit her website, justsuecreative.com. Click on her free consultation button, and that will get you started. Again, that website, justsuecreative.com. And ThinkSpace IT would like to remind you that mistakes happen. By offering comprehensive cybersecurity training to your employees, you can ensure your team is prepared for every bump along the way. Let ThinkSpace IT help keep your employees and your data secure. Contact them to get started with solutions that will work best for your business. Learn more at thinkspaceit.com. With us this morning on Morning Coffee, it is Tammy Francisco. She's the Community Relations Manager with Mosaic. Tammy, you and I met, I think it's actually been a few years ago now at a chamber event. And since then, I've always looked for you anytime that we go to one of those things, because you're just always so fun and pleasant to talk to. And I know that there's a lot of other folks in the community that feel the same way. So thank you very much for agreeing to come on the show and talking about what Mosaic is doing for the area.
Thank you for having me, Todd. I really appreciate you inviting me on the show. And yes, we did meet back about 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
At the Todd Studer Studios when you had the chamber opening there.
So, that's where it was first at. Okay.
Yes,
A previous go-round with everything that I was doing.
Yes, and it was exciting then, and it's exciting now. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's begin with Mosaic, because for folks that know, they know who you are, but for folks that don't, may not even be aware that you exist. So what is Mosaic and why is it so important?
Okay, first let me start off with this distinction. We are Mosaic in Western Iowa.
Okay.
So Western Iowa agency goes from Council Bluffs through Logan and up to Denison. And so that is our agency area. And any of the smaller towns in between, those are the people that we serve. So Mosaic is a faith-based organization who serves the needs of persons with intellectual disabilities, mental health concerns, autism, behavioral health concerns. And so we actually have two programs. One of them is the Mosaic at Home program, where we bring our individual served into a family home, and there he resides there. And then there's also what we call supportive living or intermediate services, which is a homegrown program right out of Council Bluffs, started right over there on 24th and Avenue L. And those persons live in their own home, and Mosaic comes in and offers additional support as they would need it. So we have the two programs that are steadily growing in the Western Iowa communities.
Is it possible for one of your residents that may be in service and staying with you with Mosaic in Western Iowa be able to graduate out of that and be able to get into their own place? Is that something that you see happen?
That has happened. So what we did was we transitioned our group homes into Mosaic at Home. And so we bring our person servant into the home. Well, it's really a roommate situation, but you are responsible for caring for that person. So a lot of times they and the goal is for them to gain their independence and to have more alone time and to be able to act autonomously. That's not the right word, but to be able to act without you, basically. And so, of course, if they grow to the point where they decide that they no longer want to be in the Mosaic at Home program and they want to live on their own, we actively help them pursue that goal.
This is such an important mission that you are doing, because, listen, we know that there is a homeless community that lives in Council Bluffs and in Omaha and in this area. And there are certain folks that are part of that they struggle with some of the issues that you're talking about. So having a program in place to be able to help these folks, because we don't want to see anybody on the street.
Exactly.
And this is a wonderful way to be able to keep that from happening.
Exactly. I get a lot of referrals from the community, and we have what we call a community outreach coordinator. Her name is Michelle Lillard. And so when I get those referrals, I pass them on to her because she's responsible and has the true knack and love to coordinate that effort to get a person who desires to become a part of the Mosaic family. And there's a matching process between the individual served and the families, and then we make sure that happens. Or should they want to live on their own, we make sure she's responsible for all of that coordination. So it really is a great program. It's a great service, but it's really more than just a service. We love what we do. So I think the love and the care comes across in our methodology of getting our persons in service, but also our hands-on approach while they're in our care.
I would think that a big key to what you're talking about, loving what you do and loving this service, is it has to be genuine.
Oh,
And when you legitimately incorporate that into it, that people can feel that. You know,
mm-hmm.
that your residents or your clients can feel that, their family members can feel that, and it's very obvious. I mean, when you speak with passion about this, that exists within you as well.
Exactly. I actually prayed for a new position to challenge me, and my prayer was answered. And the Lord said, "Okay, well." And in my prayer, I said, "I'll go anywhere you send me, even if I've never been there before." And the Lord said, "Well, you're going to go to Logan, Iowa." And so I had to look it up on the map. And I want you to know it's been the best work experience that I've had in my adult life. So I really, really love what I do. I love getting out in the community and sharing about Mosaic in Western Ireland, sharing. And I love that you could pick up on my passion because I am very passionate about what I do. So it's awesome.
Where did the path originate from? I mean, you said you ended up in working in Logan, but where were you before that? What brought you to here?
I've always been an advocate for others, always. And so I've had over 20 years of experience advocating for families and their children. And so I was actually working in Omaha Public School District, and I just wanted a different challenge. And so I said a prayer, and this is where God led me. So but I've always been in service of others. I've always been the advocate to make sure that those that, didn't know how to do something, learned how to do something, and hopefully that changed their lives to some degree.
As you've been getting out into the different communities, whether it be some of the smaller communities or right here in Council Bluffs, what's the reception been? How have folks been as you explain what it is that you do?
Their eyes light up. Actually, they get excited because everybody knows somebody who could benefit from being in service with Mosaic, and so a lot of times they are just grateful that service still is in existence. As you know, Glenwood discontinued their services, and so a lot of the people in the communities, surrounding communities, were wondering what is going to happen with the people that were being served there. And to find out that Mosaic is still serving individuals with intellectual disabilities or different set of needs, they are very grateful that service is still being provided.
Yeah, well, it's not any mystery that across the entire state of Iowa, a lot of these services have been reduced,
Right.
and there was many facilities around the state that are now closed. Not just
Mm-hmm.
Glenwood. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can name three others that pop right into my
Okay.
mind that are gone. A lot of the beds to be able to service mental health issues are gone,
Mm-hmm.
and so having an organization like yours is even more critical than it's ever been because there are some people that truly need some help, and if there's nowhere to go, then that's when you see them end up on the street.
Exactly.
I've talked with folks out there that homeless. There was a homeless man several years ago that I talked to that, yeah, he'd been suffering. He had PTSD after his brother
Mm-hmm.
died, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things were going on with him, and he had nowhere to go. So that's why
Exactly.
I'm so thrilled that Mosaic in Western Iowa is here and also recognizes just how big this need is.
Exactly. It is. It's a huge need in a lot of different communities, and it doesn't matter the size of the community. It's a need, and so we work to fulfill that need. And we have been very, very successful in Western Iowa. We have over 60 homes that are in our Mosaic at Home program, and we serve over, I know, more than 50 persons in our intermediate or supported living program. So we are very grateful that we have the support that we have in the community that we serve. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome experience for me. It's been a life-changing experience for the persons that we serve, but also for me, just getting out in the community and meeting different people and just hearing their stories and their passion and their love for others has really been beneficial, and it's been a wonderful experience for me personally.
A lot of times, too, you talked about Logan. That's a smaller town,
Mm-hmm.
and there's many of these small communities around the state that people don't think about this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of those smaller towns, it's like, well, it's some idyllic setting, but
Mm-hmm.
they are dealing with all of the exact same issues that any other larger community. It might be less population of it, but still it's the same thing. And that's why, as you said, this entire region that you're servicing, you see that need everywhere that you go.
Exactly. And it's been, my greatest challenge is driving through, coming from, because I actually live in Bennington, Nebraska. So when I
Hmm.
come over to Council Bluffs, I got a straight shot. But any other time that I'm not going to Council Bluffs, it's been a challenge. And the different highways and the byways that we have to do, especially when there's a detour on I-29, it's been a lovely but challenging experience. I get to see a whole lot of Iowa that I didn't realize was there.
Yeah,
And
there's a
so
lot of
it's
roads that you're probably the only one out there.
exactly. And so it's been really but I've always loved to travel by car. And so it's been really, a highlight for me. But I'm like, oh my gosh, who knew this was back here? And the
Hmm.
farmland and the it's just been a wonderful experience for me personally. And it's very calming for me to drive to these different communities. So when I get there, I'm very happy because I'm just, taking a little joyride. So I
No,
enjoy
there's some towns around Southwest Iowa that as you're pulling in, you're like, am I looking at a postcard?
it. Exactly.
Especially with the Less Hills here. So you're coming down and it sits maybe down in a valley and you see the big church steeple. And it's like Norman Rockwell must have been here painting this thing because it
Exactly.
has that look.
Exactly. And those I know I'm not saying it right, but those rocks that are painted, um
Oh, the Freedom Rocks.
Freedom Rocks,
Yeah.
yes. And then to go into different communities and see those rocks, I'm thinking this is just awesome. And it is, and I love history. So then to grow, I went through Dow City one day, and I kept seeing
Oh,
this Dow
wow.
house. And I went up the hill, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And it's preserved, so well. And it's just been, I have really enjoyed driving through the smaller towns in across Western Iowa, and I really get a kick out of it when I know where I'm going. I'm like, oh, I know, I've been there. I've been to Vail. I've been to Dunlap. I know exactly where I'm going. So early, I'm like, I know exactly where I'm going. So it's exciting for me to
What
travel
do you
through
think
Western
are
Iowa.
some of the biggest challenges that the organization is facing right now?
You know what? This is really some different times. So as a community relations manager, when we have persons who we serve are in need, I get a lot of requests, and so I get the requests from my coworkers, and I look at them, and not only do we want to do provide dreams and hopes and things, but we also this year are getting requests for everyday items, and that's unusual for us. I've gotten requests for daily hygiene products that our person served need. From briefs to uh, toothbrushes to just basic hygiene products. And that's because every person that we serve, they qualify for the Medicaid benefit. And in order to qualify for the Medicaid benefit, that means you're living below the poverty level. And so just because they have moved into a home setting, it doesn't mean that their money's increased. It's the same. So, and they are to live independently while they're living with a family. And so they are tasked with providing paying for their and purchasing their own products. And so, but because we are supporting them, we want to make sure that not only do their dreams come true, but their everyday life is as easy on them as possible, as stress free as possible. So the requests that I'm getting this year, they're very, very different than what I've had in years past. We've purchased beds, we've purchased bed frames, box springs, bedding, and that's kind of interesting because you just don't even think about a person not having a bed. So it's been very different this year. It's been challenging. We've
Well, when
also
you're,
done some
yeah.
great things as well. We've had in one particular instance, we had one of our persons served go to college, and so we purchased her a laptop so that she could make sure that she was able to stay keep up with her courses. And so we do great things with Mosaic, but the needs have really changed. They become a lot more basic this season.
Yeah, when eggs are $6 a dozen, and the price of gas fluctuates so high and low that it's
Exactly.
hard to keep track, and it's impossible to budget for some of this stuff and understand. And as you said, fixed income. It's not as if when the grocery prices skyrocketed that they were suddenly getting more, had more
Exactly.
money to be able to spend. So
Hmm.
has to come
Hmm.
from somewhere. And some of those necessities are what falls in there. Do you, as an organization, do you focus on the financial end for donations, or are you set up to take physical, like tangible items?
We take it all. So
Okay.
at Christmas time, we get a lot of gifts, a lot of blankets, a lot of handmade items from a lot of our communities, especially our churches, and we'll give that. They give that to our person served. Every holiday, we get gifts, so tangible items to give to our person served. But my part of my responsibility is fundraising, and we do have an annual fundraiser, but I take donations all throughout the year. And the biggest thing I want to share with everyone, your donation to Mosaic in Western Iowa goes to our individuals served. That is their bucket to use so that we can make sure that their needs and their dreams are met throughout the years or throughout the time that they're in service with Mosaic. So I do have an annual fundraiser over at, and we've been in St. John Lutheran Church in Council Bluffs has been gracious enough to give us their community room, and we have our annual fundraiser. It's coming up actually May 8th over at St. John Lutheran, and it begins at 8 to 9 in the morning. And so if anyone is interested in attending, please contact me. Please contact me so that so we can start our relationship off personally, so that I can get to share with you what it is about Mosaic and Western Iowa that I love. And I want you to come on this journey with me.
I'll tell you what, in the description, wherever you happen to be watching the show right now, in the description, I will put Tammy's email address in there so you can reach out to her, and also the website, mosaicinfo.org, if you'd like to
Mhm.
learn more about this organization and just how important it is for
Right.
our
And you
area.
when you go to the website, make sure you click on the Western Iowa, because those are the persons in our community. I also, you can reach me by my cell phone. You can add that as well,
Okay.
and so that people can get in touch with me. But I really love to. It is a requirement for me to meet those who want to engage with Mosaic, because we want to establish a meaningful relationship from the beginning. And I believe that if you and I start a relationship and we both share the love for Mosaic, that eventually I'm going to fall to the wayside, but your love for Mosaic will continue. So
That's a wonderful philosophy, and I can speak for more than one person that they have put the right person in your position. You are doing wonderful work, and your passion it just comes right out of you. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and also for being a part of this show. I was grateful that we were able to make this connection and get you on here because, as I said, what you're doing is incredibly important, and we need more people to know about it.
thank you, Todd. I thank you for this opportunity to spread the word about Mosaic in Western Iowa. As you know, that's what I do. When you see me, I'm always going to talk about the wonderful work that we do in Mosaic in Western Iowa. So thank you for having me on your show. This is a great opportunity for me as well as our organization. So thank you.
Well, the Iowa women came up just short yesterday against UCLA. UCLA only has one loss on the season, and the Iowa women at home came within 2 points. And in fact, it was kind of an unfortunate foul that put UCLA on the line. Just a couple of seconds left. They hit them both, win at 67-65. This is a pretty good basketball team that have lost more games than maybe they should have. Lost some close ones. So, and also they've won some solid games too. I mean, they beat USC earlier. So who knows what this team is still capable of when it gets to the postseason. But kind of a rebuilding year, of course, with Caitlin Clark not there anymore. But congratulations on the hard-fought loss. Anyway, they were right there with a very, very quality team out of UCLA. Well, we also want to remind you that GT Motors on Broadway in Council Bluffs has an ever-changing inventory to help get you in a quality used vehicle. They have trucks, they have large and small SUVs, they have passenger cars, they even have sports cars. Check out their inventory at gtmotorscb.com. Be sure to stop by their lot at 21st and Broadway. Vehicles are changing every day, and sometimes they will have cars on the lot that have not gotten posted to their website yet. So it's best to stop out at the lot. They even provide on-site financing. GT Motors, 21st and Broadway in Council Bluffs. And Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke. And you may also be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restore by Schmader will restore your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. Their staff is available 24/7 all year long. Service Master Restore by Schmader. Quick announcement that the podcast Circle of Trades has a new episode out today. And yes, it's me. I'm on there with Travis Waldstein of AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing. And we talk a little bit about how Travis is revamping his podcast and just some of the things that are going on inside of HVAC and also plumbing in that world, and also why the podcast even exists. And you can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Spotify, you can find it across multiple platforms. And also, he's got a brand new Facebook page, Circle of Trades. So do a search on that and follow the page there, and you can see all the latest episodes when they're uploaded right there on Facebook as well. So big thank you to Travis. It's always fun anytime that he has me on his podcast, and I got a feeling we're probably going to do that a little bit more, and we are now ramping things up to start putting out weekly episodes again for Circle of Trades. That's going to wrap things up on Morning Coffee. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weather this week. Boy, is it going to be nice, and it's going to be even nicer tomorrow. I can't wait. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.